Alright, it's been a few weeks out here. Still getting back to this. I was going to intend to on putting a ram air intake. I still will. But right now I just want to get this thing moving. I want to go camping this weekend. So I'm going to put the ram air back on and button this rest of this stuff up. Now the hardest part is trying to remember after a few weeks how everything went back together and find all the parts. So it's really hard to see, but on these two tubes here connected to that throttle body and a couple little clamps on here that are just a pain in the butt to get. I'll be out here for the next hour. Alright, getting there. Got that little mid tube there. Pipe that goes into the PCV system. These tubes up there. I haven't clamped it down. I'm not even going to clamp it down, I'll be honest with you. It's too much of a pain, and well, like I said, I'm going to do some ram air, so I just need to get this going. Okay, so it's another day, and got my intake back on. Like I said, I'm going to be putting a ram air on it, so as for now, got it up, and then disconnected the battery from the negative tape. Disconnected the negative cable from the battery because I'm going to be doing some welding on the exhaust. I'm going to clamp it down a little bit better and tack it up with a few tack welds so it doesn't fall off. We're going to be going about 400 miles here. Now back under here where my exhaust is, I'll clamp these things down with my impact, and then I'll get to welding them. I'm going to weld them because they are a little loose. They're probably not fully seated all the way into this, probably about halfway, but I had to do what I had to do to make it work. I could have just welded it and not used the clamps, but I like using the clamps for extra security. As you see, it's not really wiggling as much. I'm sure it can go down a little bit further on that one too. There you go. I must say, it is kind of nice reusing clamps. I don't really get to do that too often. Usually I have to buy them for like $5 a piece, whatnot. Alright, moving on over to the other side over here. Hit these boys. Now, this exhaust probably ain't going to go anywhere, but like I said, I still want to tack her down pretty good. Alright, I'm going to hit my first tack here. Ground clamp is a little far away. Let's try that again. And the last one. Like I said, just a few tacks, and that's that. Exhaust is done, and we got some other work to do here now. So now I'll be removing the radio. To do that, I have to get the screws out from underneath this and up top here. I want to be putting in a new radio in here because this one's blown, and these are from like 1990, so pretty old stuff. It's coming along. Just about got it out. Oh yeah, there it is. All right. I had to check this wiring because it was shorting out, but I think this thing is just fried as is, so I'm going to take it out and replace it. Well, I got the radio installed somewhat. It's not tied down, but hey, I got to go. Today's the day, and I'm already running behind. I also installed a backup camera. And guess what? I go try to start this thing. This piece of shit doesn't start. So, got my jumper cables out. I'm going to have to jump this bitch. Alright, she's running again. So, got right here, let it sit and charge for a little while. I'm going to take this girl on the highway. Let her run. Check out my new backup cameras. So, we got driving this thing after putting it all back together. Putting the CAD on. And you know what? This thing is still ticking, which I still think could be the manifolds. Or, this thing is also knocking still when we're going on the drive, and it still won't go past 30. It's not having any high revs, and it just sounds like it's fucking dying. And it just sounds like it's dying. So, you know, I said, well, maybe I might do the manifolds, but I'm going to drain the oil. And I want to see if there's any metal in that. You know, because if there is, you know, it tells me to kind of throw a rod. I did a compression check. I pulled the spark plug, pulled the fuel injector, and the knocking kind of went away, which telling me, oh, there was a problem in there. So I drained the oil, and what pops out? Here you see we have a 2.5 gallon bucket with this much oil in it, and it just dripped out of that oil pan. It wasn't like it came gushing, it just dripped, and it holds about 8 quarts in that thing. So this is roughly a quart of oil, which was telling me that thing had no oil in it at all. It had no oil. It went to a shop before to get tires. I don't know. I'm not saying they did, but I know when we drove that thing there, it worked perfectly fine going in. It had just recently had the oil changed. I don't know. You know, I'm not saying, maybe, you know, this might be the cause. The fixing would be the low oil. I'll fill it up. I'm going to go on a test drive, see if it takes care of it. If it doesn't, I'll change out the manifolds. But if it is going that low on oil, I don't know. It's like, so when the camper was picked up after getting the tires changed, they were both flat. Camper didn't even start. Maybe some sabotage happened. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. So I'm going to fill this thing up with 8 quarts of oil, roughly. We'll see. And we can go from there. Take it on the drive. Maybe I might cure it after I did all that crap. I'll get at this point. I'm going to fill it up with some oil. With my cap. And I got one of these. I can safely say it'll take 5. It does look like we got a few more quarts to go, so. And the other 3. So that's 7. I'm just going to check it again because I don't want to press my luck here. 8 quarts is a bit excessive. But this only took 6. Yeah, this looks like it's going to take 8 quarts. So, this thing's walking around with a quart of oil out of 8. Let's hope it still walks after this, to be quite honest with you. Alright, looks like I put an extra half a quart in there. That ain't gonna hurt, right?